Jamal Finkley, Black Tree TV. My apologies, Billy. I got caught on a lot trying to do this interview, and it's like,
Jamal, I'm
uh,
looking at you and I'm going, wait a second, are you in a lot somewhere? You actually are. That's great. Actually, that's a perfect
yeah.
backdrop for this show.
You, how true? I mean, like one of the first, I've been a fan of you for a long time, and if you've been on the screen now for 25 years, we've been able to enjoy you since Sleepers, and I mean, you've done everything from that to the Mission Impossibles to watch. I've loved you in a lot of stuff, but I really love this show, the morning show, and I don't know if it's because I'm in news or it's just the fact that your characters feel so real, and I know that some of some of the characters have their negativities and everything else, but just the way y'all play them feels so real that I really appreciate this show. How much of a joy has it been for you to work with all these great actors and to bring the show to Apple TV?
Jamal, you took the words out of my mouth. I read it and I felt the same. I thought, y'all are actually going to try to do this. This is spectacular. If you're not kidding, of course I want to be a part of it because that's a wicked enterprise. I'm bringing three dimensions to people who are involved in such heightened places in our social hierarchy is a fascinating way to explore how we're going to disrupt that hierarchy, how we're going to go about dismantling things that we don't like about the way these systems work. And I can't imagine getting any better role than I got with Corey at this point in my career, and to get to try and walk that high wire and a show that I believe has great consequence for the people who are entertained by it, because hopefully it's a thought provoking and can promote discourse and conversations and hate mail and fan mail and all the things that make being a creative collaborator worthwhile. So I I feel exactly the same way that you feel about that.
Look, here's the truth. We suspect Fred might not be innocent, but we know you're guilty of taking over UBA's airwaves, of allowing wild allegations to be made against the CEO of the network, and of physically locking him out of his own control room, which, by the way, is also a serious fire hazard.
The fire hazard.
That was pirate television, and it has no place on our network.
This really is the land that time forgot. All right, well, I did my best, but I cannot drag you idiots kicking and screaming into the 21st century. You're just so caught up in ruling over your rotten little fiefdom that you don't even see the world that has sprouted up all around you. All right, well, enjoy broadcasting your cave paintings to the last remaining savages who are still watching over the air broadcasting. The rest of the world, they've moved to the cloud, and it is gorgeous up there.
Corey, if you'll excuse us, we have a television network we need to fix.
Well, get out that super glue. Do you really think that's what all this is about, your little television network? This is a battle for the soul of the universe.
I know season one, it was Vegas shooting, it was Me Too movement. It was, a lot of things going on, and now we're still dealing with Me Too, but we're dealing with COVID, the reality. Like, and when you see it play out, it seems like when we see these seasons, we're watching the lives we just lived through the news, we're watching how it was made. How visceral is it to play these stories that we're all living in real life? I mean, they're scripted, but we're all really dealing with, I have a mask in my pocket right now. I'm sure you have a mask somewhere close to you. Like how visceral is it to play these real true stories, but it's not a documentary, it's scripted. Like how does that feel as an actor?
I tell you, I read the first pilot for the second season. At the end of it, somebody sneezed and the hairs on the back of my neck stood up. And I thought, oh, God, can we really get into it right now? We're in the midst. I've been in New York since it started, and only moved out to Los Angeles in October to finish the season. So, we've been through the ringer a couple of times, and when you're going to make a show or a movie under these settings, you have to go through a lot of protocols. So the pandemic is never far from your mind. It's always right there. So to have to play scenes where people don't know about it yet, where there's a kind of, remember like when people were making jokes back in December and January about the idea of a corona virus, and going back into that mindset is such a strange thing when you have to be tested twice just to get on the lot. When you have to wear masks and make sure your hands are in the right place all the time. It was surreal, but it is exactly the kind of experience that you want from a show like this, because it's really trying to be a part of the cultural conversation as it happens. So you better be writing about the stuff that's really going down. And it was, in some ways it was kind of a relief to play a character who hadn't had to go through it yet. But in other ways, it felt like such a huge stretch. Like that was the biggest acting of the entire episode or entire season.
Yeah. Well, I always love you off screen, and I hope next time we get to talk a little bit more about theater and Broadway, because I'm curious, as an actor that's done a lot of on stage, how do you feel about how that's going to play out in this going through COVID Delta era? But we'll talk again. I love the show. Can't wait till everybody sees it and sees the
Thank
reveal
you,
in the final
Jamal.
episode. And can't wait to see whatever you got coming up, man. Love you.
I look forward to that conversation. I appreciate it.